friends. Today we are going to be making healthy dog cookies. And as soon as I pulled these out, dogs came. They're not usually allowed in the kitchen, but today they can. All right, I'm so glad you're here with Cooking with Friends. Let's make some dog cookies. Let's go through the ingredient list very quickly, and then we're gonna get started. You need 2 cups of whole wheat or whole grain flour. It can be chickpea flour, other whole grains, just don't use white flour. You need a 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast. You can find this in many grocery stores, order it online. It has a cheesy, nutty flavor. This is not brewer's yeast or the yeast you use to make bread. It's called nutritional yeast. Then you need a 1/4 cup of honey. You need 1 cup of peanut butter. You can purchase peanut butter. You can make your own peanut butter. Just make sure if you purchase it, the peanut butter does not have the sweetener, I don't want to mispronounce, xylitol. It is poisonous to dogs, and they do put that in some peanut butter. So try to get the no sugar added, the least ingredient peanut butter if you're going to buy it. And of course, sweet potato. I don't think I said that. You only need a little bit of sweet potato for this recipe. I always forget, 3/4 of a cup. So I just cut half of this because I'm gonna eat those for dinner later. But if you want to boil all your sweet potato and puree it, any left over, you can just freeze it and thaw it when you're ready to make dog cookies again. Okay, so that's the ingredient list. The equipment that you're gonna need, you will need a stand mixer or a hand mixer. It doesn't matter. I guess you could do it by hand, but I'm not gonna do it by hand. You need a blender of some sort to make sure that you can puree the sweet potato. You need a mat to roll your dough out on. You will need a rolling pin. I have these cool little rulers that we coated with food safe covering, and I use those to roll out the dough so it stays an even thickness. You'll need something to cut your dough. It can be a knife or this. And then you need your cookie cutter. And if you ask me to send you something in the mail, you will all get this cookie cutter. I love this one because you can just stamp these cookies out very quickly. Of course, you can use individual cookie cutters, but you're gonna be doing a lot more rolling and re-rolling. So this is really good. I think that is it for the ingredients list. Equipment. You do need a pan and make sure that it has parchment paper in it. Let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and preheat our oven on 350 because this goes fast. So you will want to puree your sweet potatoes. Of course, you can use an immersion blender also, so you don't have to have a blender like this. Here comes the dogs because they love sweet potatoes. Make sure you reserve the water that you boiled it in. You will need to put some of that water in so you have a nice smooth puree. Now the blend. That needs more water. So all you have to do is get your potato water and put a little more in. Once the potato is pureed, now we are going to just put all of our ingredients in the mixer, just all together. So flour, nutritional yeast, honey, peanut butter, and then 3/4 cup of your sweet potato. You don't need to be exact. You may end up having to add a little bit more sweet potato because you want your dough to come together. And because I did pretty much exactly the amount, gotta dig it out. So sometimes I put a whole cup of sweet potato. Now you will mix it. This dough should start coming together to form a ball. It is very oily, so you should not see any residue really on the inside of your bowl. So if for some reason your dough is not coming together, it's still pretty dry, I usually just add more sweet potato, or you can add some more sweet potato water. Okay, my dough's ready. I mean, it's that quick. So I'm going to pull it out, and I will show you how clean the bowl is going to be. So I just pull this out. And other than some stuff around just the top, it came out pretty clean. Now keep your bowl with you. You're gonna need to use it to cover. I like to work with just half the dough at a time. So I will form this into kind of a rough ball. So notice, this isn't like normal cookie dough. This is much heavier than normal cookie dough. So I will cut that in half, and I will sit it to the edge and cover. If you don't, it just gets really dry and gets hard to work with. So now I just form it into like a little rectangle, best I can. I take my 2 guides, and now I just start rolling. Now you will see some cracks in the dough. Just kind of roll back and forth. If it's falling apart and crumbling, you do not have enough liquid in it. So you need to put it back in the blender or the mixer and add more liquid. But if you followed the recipe, you should be okay. I did have to add a little bit more water to mine today. I usually do. Once it stops growing this way, you know that you have a pretty even consistency. It just makes it easier. You take your cookie cutter, start at the very end, because you want to minimize your rolling and re-rolling as much as possible. And if you make your width no wider than this, then you won't have extra on the ends. But notice I just keep going down, because I will get a bunch of cookies this way and have less that I have to re-roll. All right. I'll just pull away those sides that are definitely not right, and maybe the very ends that are not right. Form that into a ball and throw it under there while you're doing your cookies. Okay, get your, gotta have sweet potato all over me. Get your prepared pan, and I usually just use this to pull up my dough. You don't have to, but see how easily that comes apart. These do not rise or spread, so you can put them very, very close together. I will then repeat this process with the rest of the dough, and anything that I have left over, I'll roll it out and just hand cut it roughly. The dogs don't care if it's not exactly even. Once you have your first sheet done, you will put it in a 350-degree oven for probably 13 to 15 minutes. I sometimes test it at about 13. You want the bottom a little golden brown, because you want a little crunch to these cookies, but these are soft baked cookies, so they're very easy to tear in half. These make 1-inch cookies. You can always, if you have a tiny dog, you could always cut them in half after you use the cookie cutter. All right, let's bake. Okay, we are done. As you can see, it makes lots of cookies. So this one recipe makes quite a few cookies. I like to store them in glass jars in my freezer. You could also store them in silicone. And I just keep a small portion out. I keep the rest in the freezer. They thaw very quickly. And then they're great treats for the dogs. If you are one of my friends who asked me to send something, you will be getting a recipe card. You will be getting one of the cookie cutters. You might get something else, I don't know. But if you didn't, There will be a link in the description so you can download the recipe card if you would like. I just want to be totally honest. This is the second video I made. The first one I ran my mouth too much and the video was over 15 minutes long. Let's hope this one's shorter. Nobody wants to listen to me for 15 minutes, but I did have some really cool jokes in that one, and you can't prove I didn't. You can't. So I hope that you join me for another Cooking with Friends. I don't know what's next, but I have some ideas. See you later.